see that just not just some just shake up in there. Man, I just want to do something. I want to do something. You're not in on you, what? Y'all ready? Yeah! You may take your seats. Be seated, please. Be seated, please. And I'm still fired up. Oh my God. Well, I'm excited to be here and have a chance to just kind of share just some information with you that I know can make a world of difference for everybody in here. From where you are today and where you desire to be in Organic Gold and in life, period. I am humbled to be here, to be called and by good friends of mine to come share just some tidbits. I don't call them tips. I'm going to give you a prescription. Right. Because I believe we have diagnosed some people that are tired of experiencing tuberculosis. Look straight ahead, no? I don't want your neighbor to know what's really going on in your life. And so, I'm humbled to be here, I really am. My grandma used to always tell me that whenever you see a turtle on the top of a fence post, know that it didn't get there on its own. And so we stand on shoulders of great giants, these incredible diamonds that are here. Big hand clap for our diamonds. Rahman, Celia, that's here. Mr. ELGIE, that's here. And obviously Fernando Rodriguez that are here as well. Obviously our blue diamonds that are here. Appreciate them so much. Big hand clap for them again. For those of you taking notes, that's great. How many of you got a signal in here? You got a signal? Phone signal? You have a signal? Some of y'all ain't got no signal. Ain't that something? Paying all that money, we ain't got no signal. I'm sorry, I apologize. I am going to vacillate between what I call corporate JW or corporate Jared Wilkins and J-Dub. So sometimes I may use some ebonic colloquialisms that may not really catch your attention, and you may look at me crazy, but I'm just talking to your neighbor then, okay? And then for you corporate intellects, I'm going to speak a language that will give you depictions in a proximity that we can both connect. Somebody say, teach J-Dub. So now, we're going to talk about some things, but for those of you that are on social media, I want the world to know that you are clocked in here. You know, people ask us all the time, how did you get here? How did you guys get here? How did these diamonds get to where they are? And I read in a book, because I understand, and you should write this down, all leaders are readers. Yes. All leaders are readers. Jim Rohn says a formal education will make you a living, self-education will make you a fortune. And so I want you to let the world know, I want you to use this hashtag if you're on Facebook, if you're on Twitter, if you're on LinkedIn, Instagram, whatever it is. The hashtag I want you to use, I'll give it to you in a second. I read this book entitled Outliers. How many of you have heard this book, Outliers? Okay? I read and I studied this book, Outliers, and I heard Mr. Buck say this when we were in Vegas. We were just speaking in Vegas 2 weeks ago. At a little over 5,000 people. It was a generic event. There were over 5,000 people there. And we were live streaming in over 90 countries to an audience of over 105,000 folks. But we shared the stage and he said something that was very poignant. He said a lot of people get so convoluted in the idea of reading and wanting to sound so intelligent and intellectual and become professors of network marketing, but professors don't make money in network marketing. He said he studies chapters. Studies chapters. Now, I've studied a chapter in that book, Outliers, and in one of those chapters that I did study, he talks about a principle. Malcolm Gladwell, he talks about this principle. He says, what does it take? What does it take to become a master at your craft? What does it take to become the highest of the highest in that particular profession? Remember I said earlier that network marketing is a profession. A lot of people refer to it as an industry, and because we refer to it as an industry, sometimes the software of the mind, because language is the software of the mind, it does not download nor does a computer resonate with what you need to do in order to make this work for you. So I refer to it as a profession, just as if you were going to become an attorney. Just as if you were going to become some type of physician, you would have to go in and clock in for some hours. He said this, write this down. He said, all masters were once disasters. All masters, everybody say all. All masters were once disasters. Every winner was first a beginner. Every winner was first a beginner. What does it take to become a master at a craft? What does it take for you to operate at a level of excellence in any craft, any field, whether it's network marketing, whether it's in an insurance business, whether it's in the real estate profession? See, what we teach here are principles. My fiance quotes this all the time. She says, if you practice the principles, you can participate in the promise. Practice means doing. Practice means advancing. So if you practice the principles, you can participate in the promise. So he said what it takes to become a master is 10,000 hours. 10,000 hours. Bless you. 10,000 hours. So I don't want you to take for granted these hours that we're going to invest together. This is a part of your 10,000 hours. So you're going to hear some things today from stage that resonate with you. I want you to make sure that people know that you're clocked in, you're in class, you're enrolled, you're on assignment, you're on appointment, because here's what I understand about people. And Fernando, he quoted some of this earlier, but this is what I understand about men and women. What we want shows up in our conversation. So when you look at this, 10,000 hours, you're clocked in. There are going to be some things that you hear that resonate with you, that hit you in your spirit. And it may not be the same thing. It may not even be me. It may be me, maybe somebody else. It may be LG Young. It may have been Fernando. It may be someone else that says something. But I want you to post that on Facebook, because I want people to know that you're someone who's expecting 2014 to be the greatest year of your life. How many are expecting that? When we got started in this business in 2009, as I shared earlier, a lot of the things that you see today were not here. We didn't have shoulders like this to stand on. We had to have faith. Now, faith and belief are two different things. For the sake of sounding a different way, and I don't want to offend anybody in terms of your beliefs, and you know, I'm proud of my beliefs. I believe what I believe. You should believe what you believe. But I'm going to attempt today to speak without offending. But I want you to listen without defending. Because if you are offended, you cut off. You're off and ended. So I don't want you to be offended by anything that I say today. I was doing a meeting and a training and a teaching in Australia, and something I said offended a guy, and somebody else didn't get offended, and she broke 3 sapphires within a week. So when we talk about this principle of 10,000 hours, I've been asked to talk about and to teach on the idea of showing the plan, presenting the information, doing presentations, giving meetings. Now, here's what I understand as well. I understand that people know what to do. People, we all know what to do. How many of you really know that you know what to do in this business? It's very simple what we do. Now, some of you didn't want to raise your hand, and that's okay. I'm coming around the mountain, here I come. Now, you know what to do. What do? We give out samples. Hello? Yes. And you give out your samples for free, do you not? Yes. Some of y'all been charging for them samples. I had a lady, Ms. Rahman, in Houston, she's been charging for the samples. I'm like, I don't know. It says on the back, anyway. So, you give out your samples for free, yes or yes? Yes. So, that's one of the aspects of what we do in these 10,000 hours. The second thing that we do is we give out free information about Organo Gold, about this franchise type system. It is so simple, it is so easy, it's coffee, and that's what we've deemed in terms of, you know, the motif of Organo Gold. But people, I mean, you know, people are hard. Yeah, we're pretty difficult people. Why? Because we overcomplicate things. And so, because it's that simple, the #1 income earner in Organo Gold, outside of Mr. Holton Buds and Mr. Shane Moran, just as a distributor, is a gentleman that is in the 4th grade. Ask your neighbor, what's wrong with you? I told you, you complicate it. Not only, you know, we hear all the time, oh, he has a 4th grade education. Forget all that. He in the 4th grade. Come on with your overly intelligent self. He's in the 4th grade. He was just awarded his $5 million ring. A 4th grader with a $5 million ring. Jared, what's the principle? It can't be that hard. It can't be that difficult. But here's what I understand. People know what to do, they just don't do what they know. Say so. Now, so we've got to, before I even start to plant the seed, because I'm going to plant the seed, and we're going to shout in a minute, but I want to teach for a minute. I want to plant a seed of presentations, and I'm going to build a case. Both of my parents are attorneys, so I've learned over the years how to build a compelling case. And I'm going to give you exhibit A, B, C, D. We're going to put a bow on it and call it a Christmas gift because I came late. Now, we're going to build a case for why you and I must continue to do meetings, because this business is all about meetings. Everybody repeat after me. Say meetings. Meetings. Make money. You drowned out. Say it again. Meetings. Say it again. Meetings. Let me give another principle here, because based on your response and your reaction will give me more information to teach you on. It is not how you start that matters. Can you sustain the same level of energy, intensity, and belief throughout the process? See, you may be more intelligent than the 4th grader, but do you have the courage of a 4th grader? It's courage. The reason why people don't do meetings, the reason why people don't show the plan, the reason why they don't do presentation is not because they don't know what to do, they just don't have the courage to do what they know. Put this on social media. You don't get out of life what you want. You do not get out of life what you want. You get out of life what you are. Say about you. Can I give you something real quickly here? The best gift you can give yourself in 2014 is releasing yourself from the opinions of people that really don't do anything for you. I'm telling you, you will get a strong release. And you will begin to have quantum leaps and shifts in this business if you remove the mental myopias that are on the canvas of your imagination based upon what people think about you. Here's what they said. What is direct selling? Direct selling is the sale of a consumer product or service, person to person, away from a fixed retail location, marketed through independent sales representatives who are sometimes also referred to as consultants or distributors. What do we refer to each other as? Consultants. Distributors? Sapphire consultants? Does that meet our criteria? Yes. This is yes and yes. This is yes. Let me move on. He says, direct sellers are not employees. This is where a lot of the challenge is. Because many of us have been so conditioned to be an employee and operate at that level that we need somebody to tell us what to do, when to do it, when to wake up, when to come in. When that is not what is happening, we don't know how to operate in a level whereas we are in control. I'm teaching better than you respond. They are independent contractors who market and sell the products or services of the company in return for a commission on those sales. Everybody say sales. Sales. See how you got all just, sales, I'm not good at sales. You just sold me on why you're not good at doing something. You just sold me. Thank you. You got to understand something. If you keep fighting for your limitations, you will keep them. You've got to stop fighting. See, we live in a world that tells us more about our limitations than it does our potential. But I am here to break that cycle in your mind that would have you believe that you're not a born winner. Do you understand you are a born winner? Yes. Yes. See, I'm going to talk about showing the plan, coffee and jazz mixes, all the stuff that these incredible leaders have been teaching and showing and doing. See, you teach what you know, but you reproduce who you are. They've got fruit. All of them have fruit. So I'm going to talk about showing the plan. I'm going to give you examples and experiences over the last 4 years that I've had. You have not done a CJM until you go into the CJM and you got to run out to CJM because he's coming home. All right, so you'll catch that later. You'll catch that later. You'll catch that later. All right. Come on back. Tell your neighbor, come on back. All CJMs ain't equal. He on his way. Child, you better wrap this thing on up. I told you to play the DVD. You know you're long with it. All right, sit down. Here's some more of the information, because I want to give you some facts. Because remember, we're going to talk about showing a plan, doing meetings, you know, what you're supposed to do. Remember, the #1 earner has a 4th grade education. He's a 4th grader, so don't get all, see, everybody wants to know the how. What's the how? The how-to. You need to get the why-to right. The how-to is simple. The how-to is 5%. In the communication triangle, draw a triangle on your paper for those of you taking notes. Sir, can I come down into the, will it mess up my thing? Can I come on down? Yes. Because I need to come on down. I need to come on down. See, when you get successful, I want you, and if you're trying to reach people just mentally, you've missed the whole idea of what a presentation is supposed to be. Are y'all with me today? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, let me give you some more definitions. It says, orders are usually placed in person or via the consultant's web page. How many of y'all got a web page? Yes. Some of y'all ain't raising your hand. That's what's wrong with you right now. You can check your back office in 2 years. Come out going down. All right, now, sometimes the phone is used to place orders or reorders. We're talking about star achievers, reorders. Everyone say reorders? Reorders are attached to our residual income. Now, it says on reorders, but only about 12% of sales take place this way. Home shopping parties, keyword, operative word, write this down. Home. Home. Yeah, home. So this ideology that I'm gonna build the business on the internet. Let me kill that demonic spirit right now. Yeah, I know what you're looking at. Mr. Rahman, can I be candid? Is that okay? I didn't come, you know, give you a farewell and, oh, we gonna overcome, just put one on your left, one on your right. I didn't come to do that. Okay, I can be candid. Now, this whole idea that I'm gonna get in, I'm gonna set it off on my left leg, I'm gonna set it off on my right leg, I'm gonna sit back, these jokers gonna duplicate, and I'm gonna just, how many of y'all know that is not the case? But it's easy, it's simple as go. Why they ain't doing it? Here's what it says: home shopping parties, which are coffee and jazz mixers. They don't say CJM. I'm building the case right here. This is Exhibit A. It says, are the most widely recognized sales methods where friends, family, or acquaintances get together for a few hours to learn about or sample a range of products and services. Now this is key right here, what I'm about to say. This is going to be a strong revelation. However, the majority, now when you see the word however in any sentence, how many of y'all went to college? Okay, how many of y'all graduated from college? All right, how many of y'all punctuated like me? Okay. You know, however, is synonymous with but. And but is a conjunction. You remember what grade did you learn conjunctions in? Conjunction, junction, what's your... Okay, it brings together something, right? But everything after but will represent more than what was before but. So, however, the majority, about 70% of the direct selling industry sales actually occur using the person-to-person approach where one seller presents the products or services to a single consumer or several consumers. 70%. What does that mean? 70% of the revenue that's generated in the profession you're in is generated in living rooms and dens. 70%. So that would suggest to you and I that if we really expect to become sapphire, how many of you are expecting to become sapphires? Good, about 5 of you. Okay. Rubies and emeralds and diamonds and blue diamonds and black diamonds and crown ambassadors, we have to tap into the 70% and we have to become good at doing what? In-home coffee and jazz mixers.
That's right.
Now, I liken it to this. Think about it this way. If the other 30% of sales that take place in this profession happen outside of the home, I would consider just something to arrest your attention. If you and I went to a restaurant, this is Exhibit B. If we went to a restaurant and the waitress or waiter served us some ketchup, mayonnaise, some A1 steak sauce, some hot sauce, how many of you agree we couldn't get full off of those condiments? We couldn't get full, right?
Right.
Now, is there anything wrong with those condiments?
No.
Nothing wrong with them. We just couldn't get full.
Right.
But how many of you would agree that if we went to the same restaurant and they served us some potatoes and steak, whether we're vegetarian or not, we can get full? Y'all agree to this?
Yeah.
So what does that mean? What does that suggest? It suggests that we can get full off of meat and potatoes. In Organo Gold, in this business, the meat and potatoes are coffee and jazz mixers.
That's right.
Everything else is just the condiments to make the meal taste better. Because, is there anything wrong with a business briefing? No, I believe you should go. Why? Because meetings make what? Money. Meetings make money. If you think about it, when you talk to a successful person, an entrepreneur, a business person, I guarantee you one of three things is happening. Either they're in a meeting, just left a meeting, or they're on their way to a meeting. Why? Because meetings make money. So, when you look at Organo Gold, the question that ought to be raised is, how many meetings are going on in my business? When you look at Organo Gold, how many coffee and jazz mixers are going on in my organization? Have I had my 4 coffee and jazz mixers? It's step 3 of the 4 steps. It is the fuel that makes this deal burn. Everything else is just the condiments. You being here, that's a part of the 10,000 hours, but that's the condiments to make the meal taste better, to get you seasoned, so you sound like you know what you're talking about.
Right.
Now, when you look at presentations, this is also what I liken it to. You've never gone to a vending machine, and how many of y'all know what a vending machine is? Okay, just want to make sure. You've never gone to a Coca-Cola vending machine and seen on that vending machine where it says out of order. Anybody seen that before?
Yeah.
Where it says out of order, out of service?
Yeah.
Now, I'm willing to bet that none of us have seen a vending machine that says out of order. We saw it with our own 2 eyes, in the natural, all you super spiritual folk. It was right there in the natural, it said out of order, it ain't working. You and I have never gone into our pocket or into our purses and put money into that machine that said what? Out of order.
Wow.
Why not?
Because it's out of order.
Because it's out of order. So why in the world would you expect your upline, your coach, your sponsor to put their most valuable resource into someone who's out of order? Oh, that's a hug from me. That's a hug from me. My name is JARROD. I'm your friend, okay? Don't try to jump me outside. I'm just, we're just talking. We're just talking, right? We're just talking. So you got to get in order. You got to get in order in the system, right?
Right.
Yeah. You got to become a star achiever. Because if you're not a star achiever, you're out of what? Order. Now you didn't want the truth, right?
Yes.
I heard one author say the truth will set you free, but first it'll tick you off. Give you the truth here, guys. This is the truth. People ask us all the time, what did it take? You know, when I got started in the business 4 years ago, this business took faith. Remember I said faith and belief are 2 different things. Faith, in my interpretations, is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen. You see some stuff right now. You can, how many of y'all can see me?
Yeah.
Okay, I would be what you call evidence.
Right.
So you don't need faith. How many of y'all can see these diamonds and blue diamonds?
Yes.
You can see them. They're not no ghost or spirit walking in, So you can see them. That means they would be what? Evidence. So you don't need faith to build organic gold anymore. You know what you need? Belief. Now, when you look at the word belief, and I really don't have time, I've got to go. Because you got to hear from some real trainers. I'm just here to just kind of, warm the crowd up. Now, when you look at belief, write it on your paper, B-E-L-I-E-F. Now, in the middle of belief lies the word L-I-E, lie. Now, your belief, your limiting beliefs, the biggest thing that you must confront, and so you can't correct what you fail to confront. The biggest thing that you must confront is the beliefs that you have, not about organic gold, not even about the product, not about your support of the upline. It's about, everybody say me. Me. Take your index fingers, points to your head, say it's me. Me. Give me 5 people up here real quick. This is from the corporate exec that's in here, all the way up down to the janitor. And when I say down, I'm not putting you down, I'm just saying in terms of social economic status. Because I don't believe somebody said, oh, I'm the little person. You're not a little person. Robert Schuller said a big shot is a little shot that kept on shooting. You understand what I'm saying to you? So you never look, that's why I said the belief. It's all internal communication. It's not the external. External is only 25% of communication. It's not technical knowledge, because it's not that you don't know what to do, you just ain't doing what you know. That's 5%. The biggest part of communication is the 70%. What I'm saying to myself about myself. Because I have more conversations with me than anybody in here has a chance to have with me. So when people say I'm working on myself, what they're really saying, and you got to get out of this whole osmosis of trying to quote and sound intelligent and really understand yourself. More people can operate and know the levels of degrees of what I call a cell phone than they know how to operate their own life. So now, when you get in this business, this is where we were 4 years ago. 4 years ago, remember I said, you don't have to be great to get started, but you do have to get started to become what? Great. So this is you in the success line. You came in, typically at a presentation, and you saw all these people, and you were like, they look good, but I look better. All right, I can do this. Oh, she's a ruby? He's a sapphire? Oh, all them people? All these people can do this? Our ego, nothing wrong with an ego, all of us have an ego. There's something wrong with an overinflated ego. Talk to him. All right, we don't have time to teach on that today. So now, we see this, we're like, okay, this looks good. Now, here's the deal. You gotta understand this. When you get started in the business, no one gets started here. Right. Shucks. This is the problem with this postmodern generation. We're living in a generation now where we want microwavable success. And it don't work that way. Everybody wants the rainbow. Can you stand the rain? Everybody wants the crown. Can you carry the cross? Everybody wants the wedding, but can you stand the marriage? You see, you're about to stop in 2 minutes. You're about to stop in 2 minutes. Right. So, you stand right there. Now, so now you have now discovered that you're not going to start here. Most people drop out when they realize, I got to wear a name badge? I can't do this. I'm too cool to wear a name badge. I got to come to a briefing? I got to sound better than them. What? I need to be presented. No, what you need to do is go sponsor somebody. So, this is where you are. At the back of the line. Now here's what happens with people. We're in the back of the line, and sir, you go ahead and touch that cup and you go on off the stage. So now he just went down. He just went down. Now you saw him go down, you're pumped up, you're excited, you happen to come to an event such as this, you heard from one of these speakers, you got excited, you're like, oh man, I'm gonna tear this thing up. Man, this thing is good. Then you do your CJM, you do your coffee and jazz mixer. Finally, you do a coffee and jazz mixer. You get off all of these excuses that you've been making. Well, my house too small, it's too far, it's in a remote location, and I don't clean up, but it's just an apartment. Here's that. We don't want to hear that. An excuse is nothing but a well-planned lie. All right, so now you hear that, you finally do a CJM. Now you get that CJM, you got 15 people confirmed, your upline is coming to do it, now you're fired up about it, you're like, okay, here we go. Then you start getting some cancellation text messages and calls. What you mean you can't show us? Oh man, I don't know about this thing. They didn't tell me all that. And so now you get out of line. So now you done got your Holy Ghost saved self out of line. I'm sorry, so don't get offended. See how I just said that? You just shut me off. Yeah, you just sounded good till you said all that. Why you gotta bring that in here? Why don't you get out of here with that? Now stay focused. Now, so now here it is. You look at all them folks, you out of line. You're out of line and you're out of order. Yes. And you keep looking at these folks, you're on the sideline. You happen to jump on a man and mentorship call or a coffee break call, and you heard this young man, he went down. And he go ahead, he took the call. So now, I remember that guy, he was just a little sapphire. Never despise small beginnings. So now, you saw that, you had your another CJM, somebody signed up, you're like, I never doubted for a minute. I'm focused, I'm fired up. You come on, you get excited now, he goes ahead and he goes down. And she goes down. He goes down. And now, here's the deal, this is why you should always celebrate people's success. Yes. When people go diamond, the line just moves up. Yes. And so now he goes ahead, he goes down. Now, this is when stuff kind of get tricky. Oh yeah, this is when the rubber really meets the road. See that other stuff that you're gonna face, they're gonna be really 4 mental enemies. I don't have time to teach on it, I taught on it, and they actually recorded this online. You can type it in on YouTube and you really listen to me teach on the 4 mental enemies. But basically, there are 4 mental enemies you face when building the business. The first is rejection. People reject the idea, they reject the concept, they reject you presenting the idea or the concept. It's nothing personal, it just happens. No happens all the time. Everybody say no. No. Did anybody die around here? No. Nobody died. People, why do they say no? Because all truth passes through 3 phases. Phase number 1 for your notes, it is ridiculed. You're doing it. As qualified as you, as intelligent, that is not for you. You're too intelligent to be peddling that little coffee thing. You're a graduate. You're a professional. Why are you doing that? Then you have your negative broke friends. That stuff don't work. I know a friend that had a cousin's uncle's aunt that did it, and it didn't work for them, so I know it's not going to work for you. Rejection. It is made fun of. Mockery. That's the first phase. The second phase the truth will go through, it is that it will be violently opposed. People will lie on you, they will deceive you, they may even sue you, and you really have not made it to where you're going until somebody sue you. I'm not saying they will, but you can't become a multi-millionaire without somebody hating. All right, you know what a hater is. It's just a confused admirer. That's all it is. Okay, so now, so that's the second phase. The third phase truth will pass through is it will finally be accepted as truth after the first 2 stages. Now here's the deal, in that process of it going through those first 2 stages, the critical question that ought to be raised is, am I still going to be the truth? So now, you go through rejection, you go through deception. Oh, deception is when people say they're going to do something and they don't do it. And then it gets even worse, they start to blame you.
Yes.
You hadn't started building a business until somebody blamed you for something you ain't had nothing to do with. It becomes your fault that I missed qualifications. Well, if you had been listening, well, I mean, Did you get on a coffee break call? Did you get on me and the mission call? Are you calling me that? You're not even called. So that's why you missed it. It's not my fault. It's what? Your fault. If it's meant to be, it's up to me. Now, you go through deception. Now, the business really starts to get real good in the last 2 stages of the 4 mental enemies. The 3rd mental enemy you're going to face. See, this is all about meetings making money, right?
Yes.
But there's some enemies because you already know what to do. You just haven't been doing what you know because you're facing, many of you, whether you care to admit it, are facing these mental enemies because we all face them.
Yes.
The 3rd mental enemy is apathy.
Yes.
People lose their dream. Folks that you have went and showed the plan with, went and showed the plan for, there's nothing like losing somebody that said they would be there and they lose their dreams. Right. Now they off selling this internet. Now they selling that juice. Now they do, and we're not putting that down, but show me one company in the last 5 years that have produced these results. I thought so. So now, apathy kicks in. And then attrition kicks in, people start to quit. Now, she go ahead and go down. And then I'm done. You're dealing with mental enemy number 3 and number 4, apathy and attrition. This is when you're actually in the business. You've been building, maybe you're now a sapphire or a ruby or emerald, and your diamond destination is right there. See, we started this thing on the coffee break call on Fridays called Freedom in a Cup Fridays.
Yes.
Why? It sparked in our mind because this lady, she started talking about all of the things that she discovered and all of the things she was able to reach and gain as a result of Organo Gold's little cup of coffee. See, what they don't see is what the cup can do for them. What's in the cup. You cannot get so convoluted in the container that you miss the content. Are you understanding what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
And so you're still in line, and you're waiting to be called next, right? Because you just saw everybody else go through the same process that you are going through and growing through, and you're next to go ahead and get your freedom in the cup, but you're dealing with apathy. People quitting on their dream. Now, when that happens, you got a couple options. Most people tuck tail and run, because that's when it starts. That pain, ooh, you ain't felt pain until you've built the business and you lose a leg.
Woo! Oh, yes, sir.
Oh, yeah. Now, I hit ruby, but I'm only qualifying as a sapphire. Or I hit emerald, and these people have quit the business because they are looking at me driving in a new Benz, or they're looking at me getting recognized, and not everybody that's in your group is a part of your team. They're 2 different things. There's the group, and then there's the team. The group will quit, and here's what most people will do. They'll drink poison expecting you to die from it. And so now you got to rebuild that leg. And how do you do it? In living rooms and what? Dens. You're showing the plan. You're doing the presentations. And then as you're starting to, creep to your freedom. You're creeping towards diamond. One of your comrades, one of your closer constituents that you've been there for. You've cried with them. You've celebrated with them. You've helped them move and skip levels. They go join them, do something else. Now, the business just got real. What does a person do when everything they have done up until this point has failed on them? Now, you are downright to the bottom of the bottom. I love what one author said. He said, a setback ain't nothing but a setup for a comeback. He said, you're down on this floor. Don't miss your shot. You're down on the floor, and you're like, it's so close. I ain't gonna tuck tail and run. See, I made a decision to do Organo Gold, but I make a commitment to become a diamond. Decision and commitment are 2 different things. Greatness never goes on sale. The only thing that goes on sale is cheap, average stuff. You go Gucci, they ain't never got no sale. You go Louis Vuitton, they ain't never got no sale. You go to Celia, no sale. So now you gotta pay the full price up front and full condition because face.
Come on now.
I'm committed.
That's right.
What you saying?
Last stop.
I'm committed.
Yes.
I'm gonna do it.
Yes. No matter what.
I'm gonna die.
Yes.
You're gonna find me at the top of the mountain
Yes.
or dead on the side of the road.
Yes. Yes.
Because I ain't coming back.
Right.
When you get that resolve, you start picking yourself up
Yes.
in the face of the opposition because the table has been prepared.
That's right.
It was prepared for you even before you got there. All you have to do is stay in line. Now you know you get that cup. Sipping it. In the front of the haters, the ones that said it would work, the ones that said you too bad, you ain't good enough. You start to sip success. Like you celebrate. I told you it was gonna work. And I'm not afraid to stand for something. Because if you stand for nothing, you'll fall for anything. How many of y'all are going down there? How many of y'all stand up? God bless you. God bless you. God bless you.
It's because it sums up my whole process here at Organic Gold. It's 5.5 years. And Les Brown was talking about change being hard and necessary. And it just brought back memories of where I was in 2008 to paying the price to be here today. I need to ask permission. Can I ask permission? Yes. I want your permission to allow me to keep it real with you. Because some of you have been a consultant for 3, 4, 5 years. Some of you have been sapphires, emeralds, and even rubies. And you heard us today talk about it being easy, being simple, and it's just coffee. So if it's truly simple and simple, it's easy, and it's just coffee, how come I am where I am? That's what you're saying to yourself. I have been there. My sole assignment right now is to help you move past that bondage and to help you understand why you're there. However, we must agree right now that what I'm about to share with you will not be shelved. That you are going to go out and you're going to do exactly what it is that I am going to share with you right now that has allowed me to be on this stage right now, and I'm no different than you. Other than this one simple thing, I learned how to change the way that I was thinking. I'd like to read something to you. We're going to begin with the end in mind. Is that okay? Yes. You guys have heard this before? Yes. I want you to write this down. I don't normally keep notes, but I just wanted to make sure I got all the words right for you. Because when you leave here today, you're fired up right now. But when you walk out that door, you know what I'm talking about. So you're going to need something that's going to hold you, that's going to help you remember why it is that you got started in the first place. Some experts refer to these things as affirmations. Because Mr. Rahman is not going to walk out that door with you. He'll go left and you'll go right. And it'll just be you. So you're going to need something that's going to allow you to stay focused on why it is that you made the decision to have Organic Gold be a part of your life. Can I read this to you? Yes. You guys are ready? Yes. This is yes, this is no. You have pen and paper?
Yes. Go slow.
Success or failure, this is me talking. You're going to put you in there. My success or failure is a matter of me controlling my emotions Those emotions are either positive or negative at any given second. Therefore, I must develop a new mindset, new habits, a better body, better disciplines, so that I am positive all the time, no matter what.
One more time.
One more time.
Listen, they only giving me like 5 minutes up here. My success or failure, this is you, mine. You put your name in there. My success or failure is a matter of me having control over my emotions. Those emotions are either positive or negative at any given second. Therefore, I must develop new habits, new mindsets, better health, better disciplines, so that I'm positive all the time, no matter what. When I change, this is you, what I deserve will come to me. When I change, what I deserve will come to me. I am not just an anybody. He created me so that I can live, love other people, do better than my best, because I'm somebody. Why am I sharing it? Because you're going to show the plan, you're going to share the talking, but there's something missing in between. So I'm sitting there, making all this money. And I noticed I kept getting pushed further and further back. The Rubies, we didn't have special preferential seating anymore. I had to get up and stand in line at 5 a.m. in the morning just like the rest of you. And I was earning more money than most of the diamonds at that time. But I had not changed. Therefore, that I didn't deserve the right to be up here with these guys. And I got to thinking, maybe I should stop thinking. I'm telling you, that's what happened. And I said, okay, here I am, still here 4 years. My son was my reason for getting into business. He doesn't see me moving. What am I teaching him? That mediocrity is okay. The status quo is okay. That being comfortable is okay. But here I am not able to share the story that at one point early in Organogo's history was impacting hundreds of thousands of lives around the world because of egoism. I said, now I know that some diseases can be cured. Maybe this is one of them. Let me go and do some research, because here I am on an island by myself now. I've lost all of my support because of me. But I know inside of me, Jared, that I'm a champion. I just have not put all the pieces together. I know that people drink coffee. I know that they drink tea. I know that people are earning a lot of income, and they're moving up. I've got to be on that stage, not for the money, but because I need to share the story of how people can still get up, no matter where they are in life, and get what they want. Because if I don't tell that story, I will be hurting a lot of people. Because as I was going through my transformation, I realized that I was here on this earth, not to be a blessing to LG Young, but to be a blessing to other people. And I said, I want to get rid of egoism. I don't want this disease no more. I've made a decision. I said, okay, let me look at everything that's wrong. So first comes awareness. I was willing to take a look at where I was. And that's where some of you are right now. You look at the mirror and then you'll run. I stood in that mirror and said, okay, what is wrong with LG Young. Let's get the egoism out of the way. Back then, I was 52 pounds heavier than I am right now. Where's WILKINS? She'll tell you. She's known me a long time. She just saw me today for the first time in 2 years and said, you lost a lot of weight. I knew that getting healthy was a part of the formula for success because I wanted to be attracted to a lot of people. Because when you're wealthy and not healthy, that's not a good mix. That's not good. I wanted to do something about that, so I became aware of that. I became aware that my personality, because I am a red, could be highly toxic. Because I would just come down on you like a ton of bricks, smash you right between the eyes, and I didn't care what you thought about it. That was the old me. Because that's how I was used to doing things. And I said, that person there cannot go diamond. He'll never get to diamond. He'll never be on the platform where he can touch the most people. And then I said, what else is wrong with LG? LG doesn't study. He's not growing. He's not reading anything. He's not listening to any audios because he's decided up here that he's got all the answers. And I said, okay, that's wrong. So I didn't call anybody in OG. What I did was I went and did some research. And it is Google. And I said, let me study the habits and the behaviors of all the people, as many people as I can, who have been exceptionally successful in network marketing. There's got to be something consistent about them that's allowing them to have what it is that I'm after. And this is what I discovered, that readers are leaders. I discovered that Jim Rohn said that you must work harder on yourself than you do the business. I discovered that the people who were having the most success, not just in network marketing, but in life, they never stopped learning. They never stopped growing. That they had some of the biggest libraries of people on the planet. I said, aha, I've got to change the way that I'm thinking. And I noticed consistently, most of them were reading the same material. Think and Grow Rich. Anybody ever heard this book? Oh, yeah. And I'm thinking, back on September 11th, 2009, Mr. Holton Buggs was trying to tell me something. He signed my book, Think and Grow Rich. On the inside cover, it reads, LG, there's a millionaire inside of you. This book will bring him out. I never read past that because I didn't think that I needed to grow that way. The other book that kept coming up repeatedly was by Joyce Meyer. It's in my black case somewhere. I don't think I have it with me. The Battlefield of Your Mind. As I began to read that, I cried. Because I was thinking, where's this big book been all my life? I didn't know I could change the way that I was thinking about myself and about other people, and that it was important if I wanted to keep growing. I used to think that there were 3 gears in life, Mrs. Rahman. I thought there was fast, reverse, and neutral. No such thing. You're either going forward or you're going backwards. That's just the way it is. You're either going forward or you're going backwards. In order to move forward, you've got to be putting something up here that's changing the way that you think about yourself, how other people view you, and how you think about your business. For me, that's been the secret. I've always done CJMs. I've made money in organic gold, but I wasn't growing as a person. Well, the other way I was, no pun intended, but I was. This suit is a 43. My suits back then were 49 and 50s. Some of you remember how big I used to be. And I just said, I'm going to do a whole new transformation. When folks see me, they're going to know he's changed. Les Brown said, change is hard. The hardest thing I've ever done in this business is not make money. It was to change me. It was to change what's up here. It's going to be the very same thing that many of you will have to go through in order to get what you deserve. It will not come any other way. So as you're looking around, you're like, man, I'm still a Ruby, I'm still an Emerald, I'm still a consultant, because you're not working on yourself. You've got to continue to grow. The other book that I saw constantly being talked about was by Mr. Burke, Parables of the Pipeline. Parables of the Pipeline. As I begin to read these things, I begin to pick up certain philosophies about life. I begin to acquire certain disciplines. My youngest daughter was the first one that noticed. Dad, don't get any smaller. You're going to be smaller than Scooter. That's what she told me. She noticed. And I noticed that I felt better. I noticed that my personality was beginning to change. I noticed that more people liked being around me rather than running from me because I was so red. I noticed that my business has always been good, but I noticed something really interesting. My income doubled. Hello? I was already a $250,000 plus ring earner. It doubled. Because I first became aware, then I accepted what I needed to do. But I wasn't sure of everything. You've heard this formula before. First comes awareness, acceptance, reconditioning. Let's replace reconditioning with personal development. You're going to have to personally develop yourself more than you ever have before to attract that person that's inside of you. That there are people who've been placed in your life intentionally to help you. People will come into your life for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. When you are ready, they just show up. So I kept working. I said, man, I don't have a mentor. I don't have a coach. But I kept working on me. I kept reading The Battlefield of Your Mind. I kept reading the Bible. I kept reading the Parable of the Pipeline. I kept reading and reading and reading. My wife will tell you she thought I was crazy. I knew I had to do it. It was worse than living in that U-Haul trailer with no money. With a sick son. It's the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. But I knew it was necessary. And I didn't pray no more about it. Because as I was reading, I came to understand that when you ask him once, you don't need to keep asking. It's offensive. You've already asked. And if you keep asking, that means you don't believe. So I asked for what I wanted, and I kept working on me. And I get this call. Several, actually. Coach Hill, Jared Wilkins, Portia Mitchell. They must have had some meeting about me. I don't know. And they were talking about how they noticed the transformation. They were proud of me for getting myself in shape. And there was an energy that was different about me that became attractive to them. So some of you are wondering, I'm not attracting coaching, I'm not attracting leadership, I'm not attracting these network marketers, I'm not attracting these people who can help me get to the next level. That's because you're still in your process. Can I tell you about your process? You said I could tell you the truth. You gotta write it down. Here's what I can tell you about your process. If you're willing to pay the price. Oh, I'm excited about this. It's not my idea. Success is never late. It's always right on time. Success is never late. It's always right on time. But it will not show up for you until change has taken place. For me, 4 years as the highest paid Ruby in the world. But I knew I wasn't living up to my potential. I knew I wasn't being a blessing to people like before. I knew that more was expected of me, and I wasn't performing. had to change. And as you go through your process of developing your mind, devoting daily time to reading and studying, the right situations, the right conditions, the right people, the income that you desire and the lifestyle to match, it will come. And so here I am, changing, growing, making decisions. This has got to become a daily part of who I am, not just as a person, but as a leader. Because I realized that so many people were counting on me. So many people, Mr. Rahman, were counting on me to get Diamond done. Because they were losing hope. They were there 2, 3, 4, 5 years and nothing was happening. And here I am with the answer on the inside of me, and I can't share it. And I told Mr. Wilkins when they call and they notice the changes, I'm willing to do whatever you tell me to do. Whatever you tell me, I don't care what it is. So I was talking to them, texting them every day, and they were guiding me. And I kept working, I kept reading. Nobody knew what was going on. We didn't have to talk about it. People could just see that there was something different. And all of a sudden, I began to attract network marketers. I began to attract people who had a business mindset already. My team was growing. And they began to coach me, Mr. Wilkins, Mr. Hill, and his fiancée, Portia Mitchell. And I began to apply the things that they were teaching me in my business. And I remember going diamond. It's only been a year. January, this month is a year for me as a diamond. But I was working with him, Portia Mitchell, Coach Hill, for 2 years behind the scenes, getting things ready. He told me, I remember, I think it was October, and Mr. Wilkins had called. He says, I was worried about something, and he quickly corrected me, and that's what coaches do. He says, don't worry, I'm going diamond. He told me that. Nobody had told me that before. Of all the people I had met, I spoke to Jared, and he says, you ready? The coach, the mentor, was saying I was ready now. You have no idea what that meant. Because for 4 years, I was trying to put it together. I wasn't going to quit. If it took another 5 years, I was going to stay the course. But when your coach and your mentor says, you're ready, you're ready. And I said, okay. He says, I'm going diamond that month. And he told me what to do. And I just kept doing it. And I kept reading more, because I wanted to grow some more, because I saw I was working. And I looked up, we zoomed, we went right past Emerald, remember? I called him and said, man, I was only on Emerald for 2 hours. Did I get the Emerald? I was so concerned about getting the Emerald, what do you call that? I never got one, because I skipped right over it. But you know the greatest moment for me? There's 2 of them. My son walked in the bedroom. This was at around 5 p.m. that day. Dad, congratulations. I said, what? He just looked at me. And this is what he said. Dad, remember when we got started? And I told you that I love you. Yes? I told you how much I believed in you. I said, yes. And he said, Dad, I love you more now. I believe in you more now. And that moved me because he had been watching. And then I remember finally getting a message from Mr. Bugs, and he called me. And this is what he said: congratulations. And then I said, I'm sorry. That I wasn't a good student. I'm sorry I got out of coaching because I figured that I didn't need to grow anymore. I didn't need to read any books, that I could figure it out on my own. So long, and I know that you needed me, and I wasn't there with that story. And I'm so sorry. And that's when he said to me, LG, success is never late. It's always right on time. In order for you to move from where you are, not just for the sake of building or getting a goal, but in your life, in order for you to be the very best and beyond of what is required of you, you've got to grow. You've got to change. You've got to become a reader. You've got to pour yourself into any material that is going to allow you to think more positive, create a positive energy. And I want to leave you with this last thought because my time is almost up. No matter what's going on in your life, if you remember this one thing, you'll always have what you deserve. I want you to write this down. I'm going to have, or I am having, a good day, no matter what. Thank you.